Hello there, Qckslvrslash here, and today we're going a little further back to 0.6.1 and the ranked season. And this one features Renelm driving the Belfast, the persona non grata. Everyone seemed to hate the Belfast's presence, feeling it was some sort of overpowered ship in ranked. Now, I'm hoping with all the videos I did share showing a variety of different ships being just as capable, that a lot of you who would watch this channel, feel differently. But the reality is, a ton of people absolutely despised this season of ranked, and it doesn't surprise me because the last time it was at tier 7 it was the same thing. People just didn't enjoy it as much. And hopefully come May, when the next season of ranked starts, it'll be moved back to tier 8 or something will be changed to make it more competitive. Or maybe not more competitive, that's the wrong word. More enjoyable, because ranked was still competitive. The meta can just be a little uninteresting, and when you've got to play, 150 to 200 games, it can start to drag on. Now, obviously, the Belfast's strengths lie with her radar and her smoke. And then you throw hydroacoustic search in there too, you pretty much, with some smart play, become immune to torpedoes. But where the Belfast really hurts is that loss of the British repair and the torpedoes. Those are two things that made the Fiji incredibly strong as a ship, and the Belfast doesn't have them. Which means you have to play smart. And I laughed manically a couple times just watching Belfast at the start of game, drive in, pop their smoke, sit inside on in it, just eat either a barrage of torpedoes or battleship shells that ended their games prematurely. And Renelm isn't going to do that. He's a little smarter than that. With these epicenter maps, there's always this desire, it seems, to try to get to the center really quickly. And Renelm's team just got a little lucky there. The enemy Shiratsu detonated. And that definitely gives them a huge advantage. You can see some torpedoes were spotted, so he pops his hydro just to spot any additional, and Renelm decides here's where he is going to set up, using the HE that is unique as far as British ships go to the Belfast. With a Miyoko side on though, I would be firing AP. You can absolutely wreck them. But I guess if you only have a couple volleys, your goal is to force the damage control and light another fire before they can disappear. And he hasn't managed that yet, but he's still got a lot of damage in already. 10k or just shy of it. And that Miyoko's still just sailing perfectly side on. That is asking to be destroyed. And obviously right here, big things you're paying attention to is how far away is the ship? 11.5 kilometers? Great, outside of torpedo range. So you have nothing to worry about from this Miyoko. And I'm not entirely sure what he is trying to achieve. Kiting around the map works, but you generally don't throw your ship away to try to do it. And you can see those fires just ticking away at the Miyoko's health. And you can see why this enemy team is probably going to be losing this game. And it comes down to a couple poor decisions. This Shiratsu got a little over aggressive. I can see what that Shiratsu on the enemy team was doing. Tried to come in, cut here, probably just throw 16 torps all down all these alleys and get some keys. Yeah, kills. The Miyoko, well, he was probably going carrier hunting, figuring, well, we lost our destroyer, we got to get their carrier, then we have an eyesight advantage. But he threw himself away as well. And with that, really the enemy team doesn't have a lot they can do. Now, you can see as a group they are falling back, which is good. They're doing something as a group, but sometimes it becomes a little too late, and unfortunately what they're doing as a group is running away. Now in some situations that may work. You get a single ship chasing a group of ships, you kill it. But as you can see, Renelm's team has been playing pretty cohesively so far. They've stuck together close enough to support one another with their gunfire, and really have secured the map in a way. Now as far as the enemy team goes, the ships I'd be concerned about right now, obviously the Scharnhorst and the Myoko both have decently large guns that to the Belfast can prove very deadly very quickly. One of the reasons, you know, the Pensacola and the Indianapolis were as good as they were in ranked is because of how many Fijis and Belfast there were. Those 203 shells just cut through these British ships like butter. And Renelm is doing exactly what he should be. He's typing in chat, hey, I'm moving up, I'm gonna get Raider on these guys. You know, I'm gonna help. Which is good, and his team just lost their first ship. The Fiji off to the side was a little alone and got focused down. But, just like his own Fiji, that enemy Fiji has made himself too easy a target to too many ships on Renelm's team. You can see gunfire coming from pretty much everywhere. He's got his Hydra up because there could be torpedoes coming this way. Always handy to spot them for an ally. And pops his smoke to just sit and basically take free pot shots at this enemy ship. And while Renelm works that Fiji down, I would like to remind everyone that I am going to be streaming tomorrow sometime around 3 p.m. Pacific time. So feel free to come check me out. I'll try to hop on a little earlier for those of you in more Eastern time zones. And you can see those enemy torpedo bombers coming in to try to make short work of the friendly Gnesi. And they very well could. The torps are armed, they're in the water. It's hard to see precisely around, but that's looking like a dead battleship. And now suddenly things are even. And this happened because of some bad positioning on Renelm's teammates. And it's a bit of what I maybe anticipated or was kind of talking about. By running away, you can sometimes drag single ships out. The Nessie there ran around the corner figuring, I can get some easy damage here. Got caught, tried to slow up and, you know, remained covered in those islands, and the enemy carrier took advantage of it. Fortunately, looks like this enemy Scharnhorst is doing a bit of the same. Figures it can get some easy damage, it has kited around the map, but is now charging in at an Akatsuki, a Belfast, and a Myoko. And that's gonna spell disaster. He does have help in the form of this enemy Belfast, but as I said, Belfast can be made pretty short work of. Even though he is firing HE, you can see the hit points are getting taken off pretty decently quick. Although that one, not a lot seemed to hit. And the one big comment I would have to Renelm, if you're watching this, is, man, use AP. You would have been pumping citadels into that Belfast there with AP. And they just lost their friendly Akatsuki, and things are not looking good. They're actually down on ships. A lot more is falling to Renelm, and this is a perfect situation where, being in a Fiji, having those torpedoes, that Scharnhorst no longer exists. Fortunately, he does light a fire on that enemy Belfast, taking him out, and using that British acceleration is getting out of dodge. He has no intention of sitting around and being an easy target for that Scharnhorst and the Scharnhorst torpedoes. Unfortunately, it is just him and his carrier left. Now the enemy carrier does appear to be flooding or burning. Can see a lot of friendly aircraft over him, so pretty safe to say the friendly carrier went and decided to take out his other half. And Renelm is just trying to kite around this island. And if you do this properly, you basically get tons of free shots as the enemy ship continues to sail forward into your gunfire. And that Scharnhorst will never get return fire. And you can also see Renelm is not that confident in his own abilities here. You know, this just in, we're fucked. I don't think you are, although that Scharnhorst does actively have a shot at you. It's surprising he didn't have the guns ready to take it. And things aren't gonna go too well for him. You can see the enemy Scharn is burning. The friendly carrier keeping planes over him to keep him lit. The real threat right now, this Fiji and Miyoko, but wait 30 seconds and he should go 20 seconds. He become undetected and he'll have hard cover in the form of this island. And you just kind of hope that that Scharnhorst burns out here. Torps get thrown in the water, but he had his hydro up, so he sees them. They wouldn't have hit anyway. And that fire looks like it is going to finish the Scharnhorst off. The Saipan picking up a much needed kill, as well as the one on the enemy carrier. And suddenly things are a lot more balanced again. And it's games like this that I really enjoyed Ranked for. You know, it was back and forth. They got an early lead, they then surrendered it through some stupid plays, and now they're back on par, and you've got a real, you know, bare knuckle brawl to the finish here. Now the Fiji obviously does have a disadvantage here. It doesn't have the radar. So that Fiji has to be careful about choosing to smoke or anything like that. Whereas Renelm doesn't. He can pop his smoke. He has a carrier left. The carrier's going to do all the spotting he needs, plus he's got the radar should anyone get a little bit closer. And I think he's doing a smart thing here. He's trying to get fires on both targets. Unfortunately, both wind up behind hard cover pretty quickly. And I would be so tense right now. If I were the enemy team, what I would try to do is this Fiji should come storming around here at the same time the Miyoko should come behind. You 2v1 a ship, you're gonna take him out. Unfortunately, that Fiji looks to be playing too cautiously. He's trying to duck back in behind this Miyoko, and what it's gonna spell is one ship after the other coming around a corner, spotted well before, and Renelm has AP loaded. 4,000 damage there, decent hit, no citadels though, eats a good chunk of damage in return, and he's gotta get out. The friendly Saipan used those bombers, lit a number of fires. Thankfully Renelm forced the damage control earlier with one of his. And he picks up a kill, finally landing a citadel. And now it is Fiji versus Belfast. And if this were 6.3, he would know how long this smoke has left for him. Unfortunately, he doesn't. But he's smart. He's got the AP loaded, and he'll continue to use that. He gets detected as the smoke runs out, and my god, this Fiji just made a critical error. Turning broadside on, there's the citadels and the game. And what really could have been a tooth and nail fight to the finish turned into something trivial. The Fiji made a mistake, turned side on. I think he was thinking he could get his torps out or something, and he died. But that doesn't take away from Renelm's game. 470,000 credits, 3,300 XP, Arsonist, high caliber, 96,000 damage, 4 kills, number of fires, 4 citadels, got the cap alone, and really, along with that Saipan, nailed this one down for the team. And the pair of them get the experience. 2250 for Renelm, and the Saipan looks to have 1900 if I'm reading that right. Remember, really blurry picture I'm basing this off of, but look how many planes that Saipan killed. My lord, he just owned the skies. And that's what the Saipan and a carrier can do in ranked. And when you look at Renelm's damage across the board, there's nothing spectacular, just good chunks of damage to a number of ships, and he finished others off. And that's really ultimately what ranked is about. You've got to get ships off the map. It doesn't matter if you've done 100,000 damage to a battleship. If it has 1 hit point left, the job's not done. And too often, even in random battles, people get away with low health. And all told, he walked away with 338,000 credits, 3,300 XP, 11,000 for his British captain, and more importantly, the star in the win. But big reason I shared this, besides it being an entertaining battle to watch, was to show that even when playing at Belfast, you still have to play smart. It's not just a drive to the middle of the map, pop smoke and radar, and win. You've got to take your opportunities to get damage out. You have to keep yourself safe, because when you do get hit, you get hit hard. Thank you for sending this in, Renelm. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, consider giving it a thumbs up or subscribing to the channel. And until later, I'm Qckslvrslash, and I'll see you when I stream.